Hello, everyone. Winter is coming, and people when they get ready for the different seasons, typically when people are getting ready for summer, they say they want to get that perfect summer body, so they think of maybe going to a gym to work out and kind of get fit so they can go to the beach and have a good beach body. But I say, why wait for summer to come around? I like to plan ahead of time, so maybe now is actually a good time to start planning for that. And with this video, you're in luck because none other than Microsoft have given us a helpful workout showing us how to, work out. Let me show you. It's this right here. Now, this actually came with MS-DOS 5. My very first PC, which we got when I was 9 years old in 1991, came with MS-DOS 5, and this was part of the packaging. This is not the manual. The manual was a big, thick book, like a really thick book. It had hundreds of pages in it. MS-DOS 5 was, by the way, the last version of DOS to have a proper manual, to have like a real manual like that with a full list of all the DOS commands. But this was just a little fold-out kind of pamphlet supplement, just for marketing purposes. But it was kind of cool, and it always stuck out in my memory just because it was kind of, you didn't really associate these kinds of fun things with PC stuff back in the day. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at the MS-DOS 5 5-minute workout. It's probably going to take me more than 5 minutes to go through this, spoiler alert, because I am who I am. But yeah, what you're seeing is actually, this is a file that I downloaded from the internet, but this is a scan of the actual thing that I had. So this really did come with MS-DOS 5. I can attest to that because I had it myself. So let's take a look. So, first page, get the most out of the MS-DOS operating system version 5.0 with these 5 easy exercises. Microsoft MS-DOS version 5.0 is the most significant version of DOS in years. But don't take our word for it, see for yourself. Install it on your personal computer in minutes following the directions in your Getting Started manual. Then try these 5 easy exercises to discover features that aren't in any other version of MS-DOS. That little asterisk there is just indicating trademark. There's a disclaimer farther down just saying, DOS is a trademark of whatever. So the first thing that they list here is the new MS-DOS shell. Step 1, first put on something cool. Type DOS shell from the C prompt. Whoa, DOS never looked like this before. Let's go ahead and, before we continue reading, let's go ahead and do exactly that. So I have here a very freshly installed copy of MS-DOS 5 running in Oracle VirtualBox. Obviously, you can't really do this in DOSBox because it has to be real DOS. So let's go ahead and do this. So DOS shell, you say. Let's give that a try. See what it looks like. Whoa! Check it out, man. So yeah, this is the MS-DOS shell. I have to say, I didn't use this much back in the day because that first PC that we got also had Windows 3.0. This was shortly before Windows 3.1 came out. So yeah, we had Windows 3.0, which was a lot worse. But it was a lot more functional than this. And actually, I don't even have mouse support on this. I didn't load a mouse driver on this, so I can't even use my mouse on this machine. I just have keyboard. That's okay. We can use Alt to open up the menus and take a look around. So yeah, I mean, you've got the basic commands here. You've got, normal file commands that you would associate with a file manager kind of environment. Options, confirmation. Ooh, I want confirmation. Confirm on delete, confirm place, confirm on mouse operation. I wonder what confirm on mouse operation is. Does that mean it confirms every time you click the button? I doubt it means that. I don't know what confirm on mouse operation means. Let's see. File display options. Okay. Oh, I see. You can set like filters here. So instead of star.star, you can have. Okay, that's cute. We have the option to display hidden in system files. You can change the sort order from between ascending and descending. Sort by names. Sort by the different columns. That's pretty cool. So across directories. Show information. Oh, this is information about the file. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. All right. Cool. Oh yeah, task swapper. We'll see that a bit later. What do we have under display? Yeah, this shows you the. Oh, I think, so we're running in text mode right now, obviously. I think we can actually, Let's try this. Let's go for graphics, 60 lines, high resolution 2. Let's see what this does. Oh boy, wow. Made things harder to read because they're smaller, but yeah, this is like an actual graphical. It's really too bad they don't have a mouse. I think you're seeing a mouse cursor on the screen, but that's my actual, that's like my Windows mouse cursor that I'm on my actual computer. It is not, yeah, it is not reacting. The DOS machine is not recognizing my mouse because I don't have a mouse driver loaded. This is definitely a lot higher resolution. Actually, it's pretty cool. Wonder what resolution this is. Is this like 640 by 480 or something like that? Probably is. It looks pretty cool. Like I said, the colors here as well. Wow, nice. Okay, so the default color scheme is called Ocean. That's pretty awesome. That alone is worth buying MS-DOS 5 because you get an Ocean color scheme. You didn't have that with MS-DOS 4. Actually, DOS 4 wasn't really a commercial release. It was actually what was the story with DOS 4? I forget. Because the prior version of DOS that was really widespread was DOS 3, or I guess 3.3 was the last version, and then there was 5, and 4 in between was kind of I don't know. I don't remember the whole story, but anyway. So we have monochrome, we have reverse, we have hot pink. Let's check out hot pink. Wow, that's. To be honest, it's slightly less hot than I thought it would be. I mean, the only really hot pink part is this part here. The rest of this is kind of purple. I mean, I don't mind. I like purple. Purple is actually my favorite color. So I do like purple, but I was expecting hot pink, not purple. Emerald City. Wow, man. Wow, that is very emeraldy. It's like we're in Ireland. We're using the DOS shell in Ireland because it's the Emerald City now. Turquoise. Oh, turquoise. Oh, that looks nice. That's actually... Okay, to be sure, that's a little less turquoisey than I was hoping. I also really like turquoise. That might be my second favorite color. Then up here we have just basic blue. Okay, that is pretty basic. All right. You know what? Let me just so it's easier to read. Let me go back to the. Hold on, let me switch back to what's graphics 25 lines like. That's not bad. It's kind of a nice compromise. It's still actually graphical. It's not just a text mode thing. It's an actual graphical shell, but it's a little more readable. All right, let's see. Tree expand local collapse branch, and there we have. Wow, we have like a full help menu. About shell. MS-DOS shell, MS-DOS version 5, Copyright Microsoft Corporation 1991. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so this was the shell, and it actually works pretty well with the keyboard. You can use tab to switch between these different areas here. Yeah, and you've got drives A, B, and C up top. All right, let's go ahead and quit out of this. So that was the MS-DOS shell. Let me go ahead now and take us back to that workout pamphlet that we were looking at. So yeah, mouse drop down is the new. Sorry, it's actually a little small. I'm having trouble reading that because it's just a bit small on my screen. I hope it's readable for you. It's a little. I think the video is going to make it a bit blurry, which is unfortunate. But on my screen, it's so small that I'm actually having just a bit of trouble reading it. You know, I'm going to make that just a bit bigger so I can actually see what I'm reading, because otherwise that is not going to work out. All right. Menus drop down in the new MS-DOS shell to let you browse through options with ease. Move files from one directory to another just by dragging them with your mouse. Start any program by double-clicking it, or without a mouse, just highlight the program and press Enter. It's that simple. So again, I didn't really use the shell much, but, you know, I mean, this was a time when Windows had already been out for a few years, and Windows was still in its fairly early stages, but it was still better, I would say, than the shell. Like the shell was something very basic. I guess that's what you might use it if you didn't have Windows, but most people were using Windows by that point on PCs, I think, already. Then, okay, step 2, then stretch out. Give yourself some room. Stretch your PC's memory enough for that big applications always ran out of memory. On a 286, this is on an, as if people would actually say 80286. I guess they were expecting people to pronounce this on an 80286 or 80286, but everybody just says 286. I mean, who says 80286 these days? Well, nobody talks about 286 or 386 or 46 these days, but I mean, back then everybody just omitted the 80. Okay, on a 286 or 386 PC, MS-DOS operating system version 5.0 loads into extended memory to increase your available memory in most configurations by at least 45K. Load larger applications and data files than ever before. Wow! Check out that PC, man. It has actually, it's not very good. It doesn't have a 5 1/4 inch floppy drive. Where's the 5 1/4 inch floppy drive? You can't have a computer without a 5 1/4 inch floppy drive. I mean, I like the CRT. Keyboard looks pretty. I mean, it's this very very standard sort of type of PC keyboard that I had the same type of keyboard with that PC, but I mean, it's missing a 5 1/4 inch floppy drive. How are you going to use that computer? So like it's unusable. Okay, so this is talking about loading DOS in high memory. Let's go ahead and take a look at what that looks like in practice in DOS. So if you just type, actually before we do anything else, let's take a look at our config.sys file. Yeah, so you'll see here it loaded himem.sys, which loads DOS into high memory, and then it has the command to load DOS into high memory, DOS equals high. So if we type mem, we're going to see. Yeah, it says at the bottom there, see that MS-DOS resident in high memory area. And I think if we type mem/c, yeah, this does not work without the space, does it? If I type mem/c with no space, oh no, it does work. That's interesting. Interesting. I thought it wouldn't work. Okay, anyhow, so you can see the memory usage here, which is interesting. It doesn't show you. I thought it would show. It shows you the size of the programs resident in memory, but I thought it would show whether they're in low memory or high memory. It doesn't. It shows you the size in decimal and hex, which is great, but I thought it would show whether those things are in low memory or high memory. Maybe that was something they added in MS-DOS 6. And we can see MS-DOS is 12.7 kilobytes, but it is in high memory. So from conventional memory, actually I don't know which of these are taking up conventional memory. We have 616K free of conventional memory. So what's taking up the missing 25K? I guess actually not sure. I mean, because it seems like it's including those 12.7K of DOS that duh. I just realized, duh, it says right at the top, conventional memory. So this is only showing the stuff in conventional memory, not in high memory. Okay, gotcha. So the conventional memory portion of DOS is 12.7K. Gotcha, okay. And then other things here, like high mem uses 1.1K. Wow, key B, I guess keyboard driver, why is that 6.1K and why is that? I wonder if, so on this computer, I have a German keyboard, and I set up DOS to use a German keyboard layout for that reason, so that it would actually correctly recognize the keyboard keys when I press them. I wonder if I just used like a standard US English keyboard, if it would even have to load keyb, because that's like almost half the size of MS-DOS right there. It's like 6.1K, and the whole MS-DOS is 12.7K. Not the whole DOS, the rest is in high memory, I guess, but still, 6K seems like a lot just for a keyboard layout. But what do I know? And then, so basically all we have here is obviously DOS itself. I don't know why setver is loaded. Why do we need I mean, that's to basically tell programs what version of DOS is running. Seems like we don't really need that. And I didn't choose to install that. Is that, yeah, it's not anywhere. It's not anywhere present here, so I don't know why it's even loading setver. Anyway, because so himem is their command, is the command prompt where we are. I'm just curious. You know what? Let me go. See, see, it's loading keyboard GR. GR is German. I mean, GR is actually supposed to be Greece, because the abbreviation for Germany is DE for Deutschland, but here it's using GR for German. You know, let me just go ahead and try this. Let me go ahead and comment that out. I'm just curious whether this will save us more memory. How do I reboot? There's no command to reboot in DOS, is there? I guess in real life you do Control-Alt-Delete, but since this is VM, I guess I'll have to go and say reset. Yeah, and reset causes it to reboot. There we go. Okay, cool. So how much memory do we have now? If I say mem-c now, oh, I need to use the numeric keypad because Shift-7 doesn't give me a slash anymore. Yeah, so so that keyboard driver to let me use the German keyboard actually consumes a fair bit of memory. I didn't realize it did that. And if you don't load that, then it just uses a standard US English keyboard layout, which is obviously the default in DOS, and it doesn't require any extra memory. I didn't even realize that. That's interesting. All right, let's go ahead and do this. I'll go ahead and bring that back because I would like to be able to use the actual keys on my keyboard instead of trying to guess where they are in the English layout. My fault for having a German keyboard, I guess. All right, let's go ahead and reboot again. And after the reboot, we're back, and yes, it's back in German. Okay, so yeah, so MS-DOS is in high memory. It's loaded high mem, which allows it to run in high memory, and yeah, and that saves you conventional memory for that big application that always ran out of memory. Okay, so that was step 2. Stretch out, yeah. All right, cool. Let's move on. Task Swapper. Step 3, do some jumping. Jump quickly among DOS applications with the new Task Swapper. Here's how. In the Options menu of the MS-DOS shell, select Enable Task Swapper, then start your favorite DOS applications by double-clicking them. You can now jump from one to another just by holding down Alt and pressing Tab. So it's basically Alt-Tab in DOS without Windows. I never used this in my life. I think I did it once. When I read about it in this workout, I think I tried this once just to see how it worked, and then I never used it after that because, you know, why would you need more than one program at a time running on a computer? That's crazy. I mean, computers are for doing one thing at a time, right? But I guess we can try to, let's see, hold on. I need some programs to run. I didn't copy any programs on this VM. It's literally just DOS, so I need, let's see, what programs does DOS have that we can actually run? Gosh. I mean, I guess we could, well, okay, since we have, all right, let's go back to the DOS shell, and let's do what it said. So let's go ahead and say, where was it? Enable Task Swapper. There we go. So now, if I go ahead and, oh, it added a new, see in the lower right, it added a new area called Active Task List. So if I go down here, I'm just curious, if I just come down here and say Editor, File to Edit, I don't know, man. What happens if I use a long file name? This obviously didn't have long file name support yet. It was 8 characters, three character extension. So what's it going to say if I do this? Bad file name. All right, fine. File to edit is, I don't know, wazoo.txt. All right, so we have the editor running here. That's nice. Now if I press Alt-Tab, see, we can actually switch back and forth between the editor and MS-DOS shell. And if I go ahead now and run qbasic on top of this, qbasic file, sure, wazoo.bas. And I've pressed Alt-Tab again. See, I can switch between the shell, the editor, and qbasic. Awesome. So I can Alt-Tab into qbasic. Got my basic program here. Now I can Alt-Tab into the editor and continue typing some crazy stuff in the editor. Then Alt-Tab back into the MS-DOS shell, and I'm back here. Kind of cool. I mean, you know, it's the standard Alt-Tab keystroke, which is still standard in Windows today. It works. I mean, you can see it works fairly well. I don't know. I'm just curious now. Hold on. If I go to the command prompt now and do a mem or memc, yeah, you can actually see. Interesting that it still has 570 kilobytes of free memory. Like what's running now is really not taking up much memory at all. In fact, where is the stuff that's running? Like I don't even see qbasic and edit running here. DOS swap takes up 33K. Did that somehow consume the memory used by editor and I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what's going on here, man. I'm so confused. Anyway, if I just say exit now, you cannot quit MS-DOS shell with programs in the active task list. Quit those programs first. Okay, gotcha. So I will need to come here to the editor and say exit. No, don't save. And now back here, okay, now we just have qbasic in the active task list. And if I do Alt-Tab again, it takes me out to qbasic, and I'll say Oh, I said no. I want to say exit. I said new. I want to say exit. Don't save. No. All right. Now can I exit this? Yes, I can. All right. Kind of cool feature. I don't know how many people used it back in the day because, again, practically speaking, I think most people were already using Windows by this time. Cool idea. I mean, well, it's not really a new idea for DOS. I mean, it was already being done in Windows. So it's nice that they went to the trouble of implementing this in DOS using that DOS shell. But again, I can say that I never used it. I question how many people actually used it back in the day. But anyway, nice. Step 4, pick up the pace. Here's where you can save even more time and say goodbye to line editing. In the DOS directory, type edit readme.txt. See? An easy full screen editor makes it a snap to create and edit text files. So we already saw the editor briefly, but let's come back here and say, I guess we need to go to the DOS directory for DOS, and then type edit readme.txt. Yeah, here we go. Readme notes on MS-DOS version 5. So, if you were using DOS prior to version 5 of DOS, then you probably know the pain that is edlin. And what is edlin? Wow, this README file. How long is this README file? This goes on for a while. Oh, hey, there's an article about using a mouse with MS-DOS shell. Let's see, what does it say about that, actually? Actually, let's go quickly through this while we're here. Machine-specific HIMEM switches. Oh, that's interesting. You can set HIMEM to use a Bull Microl 60. I don't know what a Bull Microl 60 is. I'm assuming Bull Microl is a brand, and 60 was a model of computer from them. Interesting. Okay. Oh, you can install DOS on an OS/2 dual boot system. Wow, remember OS/2? I never used OS/2. I never had an OS/2 computer. I kind of missed out. Problem solving the per memory area and still expand. Okay, so this is for EMM. So yeah, for expanded memory as opposed to extended memory. Phoenix BIOS. Interesting. Interesting. So HIMEM might not work with the Phoenix BIOS. Notes on Windows. Wow. Hey, cool. Now we're thinking with Windows. Unable to start enhanced mode message. If you just want to start Windows enhanced mode 3.0, get a message. Add the Y equals path switch to the device EMM3. Wow. Check out all this stuff. I bet you didn't know that there was a /Y switch for EMM386 to load Windows in enhanced mode. I sure didn't. Yeah, I saw this file in the root directory. I don't know what this Win820 file is, but yeah, it is there. It is actually present. I have no idea what it does. It does something with 386 enhanced mode Windows, I guess, but high memory area is in use. Oh boy. Oh, you cannot run Windows 3.6 2.1 when MS-DOS 5 is loaded into the high memory area. Wow. Good to know. I didn't know that. Cannot run Windows in standard mode. Wow. Look at all this information about Windows that we're getting. This is like cool stuff. I didn't even know this stuff about Windows. All right, arrow keys. So yeah. If you can't use the arrow keys on your numeric keypad, running Keybase or MS-DOS editor, okay, that's cool. Oh, there's a program called Fix Shift, but it doesn't come with DOS. You have to call Microsoft Product Support Services to get it. Why? Why would they not just include it with DOS? Why would they mention and say you have to contact Product Support Services? Okay, using a mouse, associated with a mouse, use the following drivers with a Logitech mouse version 5.1 or later, or Microsoft mouse for 6.21 or later. Okay, cool. All right, so I would need a mouse driver to use the mouse with that, but I don't have one here. That's fine. Oh, wow, it even talks about using a network. Most network software won't work correctly if you start from a MS-DOS shell command prompt. Start your network before starting MS-DOS shell. Wow, AT&T Star Group, PC NFS 3.0. TOPS. Wow, you can get TOPS. I don't even know what TOPS is, but you can get TOPS. Wait, is it like... Wasn't TOPS the operating system for those PDP computers, like TOPS 20 ran on a PDP 20? I feel like that. I don't know. Documentation. Okay, so newcv.com for code view. I don't even know what code view is. I don't even know what code view is, man. This is like wild stuff. I'm learning all kinds of crazy stuff. I didn't even know there is code view. What is code view? Documentation corrections, comp, expand, format. Mirror, undelete. Wow. Hercules display adapters. QBasic on error commands. Wow, smart drive. It talks about smart drive. So awesome. Okay, sorry, I got sidetracked with this. So yeah, so this is the MS-DOS editor version 1.0, copyright 1991. So this is a pretty basic. It's like pretty much the most basic kind of text editor that you can imagine, but it was a big improvement over Edlin, which stands for edit line, I guess. It's a line editor. I never had to use this, thank goodness, because, again, DOS 5 was my first version of DOS. But if you were using DOS 3.3, then this was how you edited text files back in the day. I don't even know how to use this thing. So basically, you have to say, first you have to choose the line number. So let's say line 3. Okay, that was not what I intended to do. What is it doing? Hero? What's going on? Oh no. Oh no, what have I done? Okay, Control C saved me from whatever was happening there. So if I just want to, like, oh wait, maybe instead of entering the text line, maybe I just like type the actual line number, like 3. I have no idea what's going on here. Okay, I'm going to say Q to quit and throw away changes. Abort, edit, yes. Abort, abandon ship, abort, whatever that was. Yeah, sorry, I never even learned how to use Edlin because this was my first version of DOS, so I'm just like a young kid who started using edit already back in the day. I never learned how to use Edlin, so sorry, I don't know how that stuff works. I mean, I know how to use Vi and Emacs, but I have no idea how to use Edlin. I probably never will learn because maybe I should. I was gonna say even I'm not that old-fashioned, but actually that's a lie. I am that old-fashioned. So maybe I'll learn Edlin just to be even more of a DOS hipster, because that's kind of the, for better or for worse, that's sort of what I've ended up being. Okay, cool. So that was that. Let's go back to this. Reformat old disks faster too. The format/q command lets you reformat disks in 80% less time. Cool. So a quick format was already available in DOS 5. I don't think I ever used that. I didn't format a lot of disks, and when I did, I didn't bother to do quick format, but still, nice that the idea is there. Step 5, last warm down. Now you can relax, even if you have a habit of deleting critical files. First type mirror/tc, or enter it in your autoexec bat file to take a snapshot of your C drive. Now, I never used this mirror command, and you might wonder what the /tc does. Well, let's find out. I'm actually surprised that they don't mention this in this file. I mean, I really feel like they should mention this here, because one thing that is also new in DOS 5 is the help command. I don't think that previous versions of DOS had a help system like this built in. So if you just type help, it basically gives you all the, I don't think this is every single DOS command, but this is at least the main ones. And you can type something like help copy to get further help with, yeah, it'll show you the syntax of a command. I think you can, could you do /? Here? Yeah, you can also put /? after the command. It'll show you the syntax. So I think this is new to this DOS version. I'm not sure. I think this was the first DOS version that has help like this built in. So I'm surprised that they don't mention that in this workout, because that seems like it is something kind of cool as well. But since it mentioned the mirror command, let's go ahead and say help mirror, and let's see how the mirror command works. So it told us to type mirror/tc. So T, as you can see here, actually loads a deletion tracking program for the specified drive. So the TC, C is not a switch, it's actually the drive letter. So TC means tracking for drive letter C, the main hard drive, the first hard drive. So it loads some kind of memory resident program which actually tracks changes to the drive, changes to the file structure on the drive, which is kind of an interesting concept. I never tried it. Honestly, I really never tried that. Just wasn't something that I used a lot. So let's see what it says about that. So So first you type mirror tc. Let's go ahead. Let's don't and say that we did. Let's not and pretend that we did. Then go ahead. Delete readme.txt from the DOS directory. By the way, did we tell you that was an important DOS file? Before you panic, undelete it. Just type undelete readme.txt and presto, it's back. You can also unformat almost any disk by simply typing unformat in the drive name. A welcome relief if you ever reformat your hard disk by accident. Indeed. I never used this in my life. I have never tried unformatting a disk with DOS. Maybe I should try it as an experiment someday just to see how it works. But, so I guess that undelete command works better with mirror because mirror makes some kind of like an internal directory of, like an internal catalog, let's say, of changes to the file system. But undelete actually does work without it. If you let's just create a file, let's just call it text.txt. And I'll just say, this is my awesome text, awesome. I'm going to leave that typo because it makes it even more awesome. Typos make everything more awesome in DOS. This is my awesome text file. And just go ahead and save that. And why did it say it's not saved? I did save it. I did save it, dumbass. Okay, so we have text.txt. Now, what happens if we just delete it? Whoopsie daisy. It's gone. Well, fortunately, DOS 5 has the new wonderful undelete commands. If you just type, you can actually type undelete and then the file name, but if you're not sure about the file name, you just want to see all the files that can be undeleted, you can just say undelete, and it will actually show you what files it found that can be undeleted. Now, I don't know about the technical details of how this works. Basically, when a file gets deleted, what happens is the contents of the file are not overwritten. Like the contents of the file don't get deleted, but what happens is basically the file's entry in the file allocation table gets marked as deleted, and it eliminates the first letter of the file. So you can see that's why it's showing $ext, because it doesn't know that the first letter of the file name was T, for text. So when it's asking if I want to undelete, so I'll say yes. And it's asking what is the first character, like what was the first letter. You can type in anything here, and I can type in, I don't know, let's type in B. And now we have bext.txt. I mean, it can be any letter. The letter doesn't really matter. But now, yeah, it recovered the file. So, the way that this works, this relies on the fact that the file is still sitting on the disk until you make some changes to the disk. This does not really work today. It's not something you can really do with today's operating systems because they're making constant changes to the disk. And this is something that really bothers me about operating systems today. They are constantly doing things. They're constantly, there's a page file, which is, virtual memory, so it's constantly writing to that. It often makes little background processes make log files and copy little files here and there. And they're not very big files. It's not necessarily that they'll use up all your hard drive space, although that can sometimes happen as well if there are a lot of them. But it's more just that I don't like the idea of my computer doing something that I don't tell it to do. And the great thing about computing back then, at this time in 1991 with MS-DOS 5 was that DOS is not writing anything to your hard drive at all. It is not making any changes to your hard drive. There are no background processes running. Okay, that's not entirely true. There are these things running. There's a program running in the background to, to give me a different keyboard layout, and there's a program that sets the version number that's get reported to programs. But there is no active process that's really doing anything in memory right now. The only thing that this computer is doing right now is waiting for me to type something. It is not doing anything else, and it will not do anything else until I explicitly tell it to do something. And that's what I liked about computing back then. Today's computers do so much stuff in the background, you don't even know what they're doing. I mean, if you look at your, in Windows, go to Task Manager and look at all the services and tasks, processes that are running. And if you go to, if you're under Linux, do like a PS, do PS space, what is it, AUXE, something like that, and then you see all the processes that are running in Linux. I mean, it's crazy. There's so much stuff running that you didn't start. The operating system just decided it would be great to start that. But here, this operating system really does nothing unless you tell it to do something. That's what I really love about this era of, or one of the things that I really loved about computing back in this at this point in history. So that file that we deleted is going to stay on the disk until we explicitly overwrite it. DOS is not going to write to that area of the disk by itself. It will only overwrite that file if we create a new file. So we've got this file here now. We've got bex.txt. So if I delete it again, I can say undelete again. And it will allow me to undelete the file again. But if I say no, let's go ahead and make a new file. Let's call it text2.txt. Let's just say this is my second text file. And I'll save this now. And we'll say undelete. No entries found. That's it. That original text file, that OSOM text file that I created is gone because it has been overwritten. Basically, you know, DOS tries to put files as close to the beginning of the disk as it can. And so since that sector where the old file was free, it overwrote it. So that file is gone now. We could probably still recover it if we had done that mirror TC thing, but I obviously did not do that. So yeah, so that's how you can undelete things. And, oh yeah, quick format. Oh yeah. Oh, it does mention the help command. This is not in one of the 5 steps. Okay, so these are the 5 steps, but then at the end it does mention the help command. Okay, a little coaching never hurts. Learning MS-DOS is easier than ever before because the coach is always there. Online help guides you through any MS-DOS command, including all those shown here. Try it. Help dir for coaching on the dir command, or try the help menu in the MS-DOS shell. And if you programmer would like to start programming MS-DOS operating system version 5.0, it includes MS-DOS QBasic, modern programming language. QBasic modern programming language. That sentence seems like there should be something here that... Okay, anyway. This replacement for the GW Basic interpreter comes complete with drop-down menus and its own online documentation, making programming much easier and faster. MS-DOS version 5.0 is a major advancement in personal computing, so keep this workout handy and make your PC safer, more productive, and easier to use than ever before. And there you go. Oh, I remember when they were using making it all make sense as their slogan? It's pretty awesome. Let's read this fine print at the bottom here. It's a little, yeah, okay, this PDF file is a little bit grainy, or more than a little bit grainy. It's not super high resolution, but DOS as used here refers to the MS-DOS and PC-DOS operating systems. All right, yeah. And these are the copyright statements, and then Microsoft making it all make sense. And there's the part number in case you want to order this from Microsoft. Call up Microsoft and say you want to order this part number. You want to get their MS-DOS 5 workout. Awesome. So yeah, that was the workout, and yeah, DOS does indeed come with QBasic. We already saw that briefly as well. And when I read that workout, that's how I found out, actually. I didn't even know that DOS came with a basic interpreter. When I read that workout, I thought, wow, cool, it comes with a basic interpreter. It sure does. And if you go to File, Open, guess what? Oh, we're in the root directory. Hold on, let's go to the DOS directory, if I can navigate there. Look at what we have. We have Gorilla, QBasic Gorillas, and we have like 3 other programs, which, you know, Money is just like a basic money editor. Nibbles, of course, is, you know, it's Nibbles, come on. And Remline is there to remove line numbers from programs. So let's see. Can we run this by pressing F5? QBasic Gorillas. Unfortunately, I have no audio. I don't think that Oracle VirtualBox emulates the PC speaker. I think it'll emulate like actual sound cards, but I don't think it emulates the PC speaker sound, which is a little unfortunate because you don't hear that awesome. But all right, I like this is copyright 1990, 1 year before the operating system that it came with. Your opponent, yeah, okay, blah blah blah. Player 1 is fine. Player 2 is fine. Default is 3 points. That's fine. Gravity is that's fine. Plague. No, do we want to view the intro? Let's view the intro. QBasic Gorilla is starring Player 1 and Player 2. And yeah, there'd be music playing here as well, but did it crash? It is not doing anything. It got this far and then it stopped. Huh. Why did it crash? So that's by it. All right, let's do another reboot. And let's try that again. Let's try, okay, I don't know why Gorillas doesn't run. Let's try Nibbles. So this is Nibbles. Let's go ahead and how many players? One player, please. Skill level, let's go ahead and say 1 is novice. Increase game speed during play? No. He actually asks you if you have a monochrome or color monitor. Let's say you have a color monitor. Oh, division by 0. The game is too fast. It's running so fast that it actually got a division by 0 when subtracting the start time from the stop time. Is there a way to slow down the emulated computer in VirtualBox? I'm actually not aware of one. I don't know how I'd slow this down. Under system, processor, acceleration, I mean, there's a very small set of options you can set for the processor, but I don't think they would slow it down enough to where this would actually be functional. Okay, that's too bad. All right, then let's just go ahead and let's try running Gorillas again, except let's not do the intro. Let's just play the game. So player 1 is 2. Okay, I'll just say P for play game. Hey, look, it's Gorillas. All right, so angle is 45. Velocity is, I don't know, let's say 80. Okay, so somehow animation makes it freeze. Oh, wait. Oh, it's not frozen. It's not frozen. It's just, wow. Wow. That is the slowest banana I've ever seen in my life. Wow. It's like Gorillas combined with turtle logo because it's slow like a turtle. Get it? Lol. Funny joke, yeah. Okay, well, I don't know why it's that slow. Probably still has something to do with the machine timing, I'm assuming. Probably wasn't designed to run on a machine of this speed. I mean, obviously it wasn't. This is from 1990. All right. Well, I guess that's that. That was MS-DOS. That was the MS-DOS 5 workout. One thing that I kind of noticed, one thing that strikes me at looking at a lot of these functions is that they're kind of things which were done by popular third-party applications back in the day, and which have been now essentially usurped by DOS, which was kind of the beginning of a long pattern of Microsoft doing stuff like that. I mean, the most notorious example is probably the browser wars. People didn't like that Microsoft included a web browser with Windows. But already back at this time, DOS was already becoming more than just an operating system. I mean, it kind of raises the question. People often ask, what exactly is an operating system? What constitutes an operating system? What counts as an operating system? What doesn't? I mean, a lot of people would say that DOS doesn't count as an operating system because it's missing a lot of features that an operating system should have that people would expect from an operating system. But really, back in the day, back in the 1980s, a DOS, here I don't specifically mean just Microsoft DOS, but a DOS, a disk operating system, was basically just a set of subroutines for a programmer to read and write floppy disks, because it's really complicated to write disks on PCs, and so there was it's basically a library of functions for programmers to just write files to floppy disks and read files from floppy disks. That was it. That was most of what a DOS was back in the 1980s. Really more like a programmer's API than anything else. And then gradually stuff got added to that. Then, operating systems got a shell. I mean, the shell in DOS. I mean, if you think about the shell, like the command prompt in DOS, it's obviously very basic. I mean, compared to the command prompt available in Linux or, present day Windows, like if you think about PowerShell in Windows, or similarly, the command line on Mac OS, which is based on Unix anyway, compare that to DOS. DOS seems very primitive. It's obviously it's very basic. It's very, sort of fundamental in what it can do. But for a lot of people, that was enough because, DOS is not meant to be a big, huge thing with millions of features in it. It's a shell with some basic file management commands, and you have a few utilities, and that's it. That's it. That's what DOS is, and that was enough for people back in the day. People didn't expect much more from an operating system than that. So that's actually one thing that I really love about DOS. I mean, why I really love DOS is it doesn't get in your way. It's fairly lightweight. Yeah, it's primitive and small, but it's supposed to be. It doesn't get in your way. It gives you a very basic shell, command line to do your most basic things with, and that's it. And everything else is wide open to you, and that's why I love DOS, because it doesn't have too much junk on it. That's I'm a basics person. I mean, when I do computing, I don't like to have too much unnecessary stuff. I mean, I don't necessarily mind having a lot of stuff, but I don't want it to get in my way. Like, I don't mind having a lot of stuff available to me, but I don't want it popping up and trying to do things while I'm trying to use the computer. So that's why I like it, why I like DOS. Like I said, it does not do anything that you don't tell it to do. It does not run any process or change any file or do anything until you tell it to do so. If you had MS-DOS 6, the next version of DOS, you might remember it also came with an antivirus program. And one of the features of that antivirus program actually was to basically warn on any write to the disk, on any attempt to perform any kind of write operation to the hard disk, it would pop up and flash a warning and say a program is trying to write to the disk. Imagine doing that with any operating system today. It would be impossible because those programs, again, they're constantly writing things to the disk. They're constantly writing log files and page files, virtual memory, stuff like that to the disk. It wouldn't be possible. Back then, the computer just did what you told it to do, no more, no less. But what I was going to say is, already at this time, Microsoft was kind of not infringing because it's not illegal to do something like this, but it was basically adding a lot of features which other programs had, like that undelete thing. So MS-DOS 5 was not the first program that let you undelete things on computers. Before DOS 5 came out, the Norton utilities, Peter Norton's famous Norton utilities, included an undelete feature, and it was pretty widely used back in the 80s. I mean, it's a fairly simple function. Like I said, the way that it works is really simple. When you delete a file, the file is still on the disk. All that changes is the entry in the file allocation table is marked as deleted, but you can just change that entry in the file allocation table and ping, you've got your file back. So technically it was a relatively simple thing to do. But most computer users didn't have the technical know-how to do that, and so the Norton Utilities was very useful for undeleting things. But when MS-DOS 5 added an undelete command, the Norton Utilities became a lot less useful because they were still used. I mean, they had a lot of other. The Norton Utilities weren't just an undelete command. They had a lot of other interesting functions in them, but I think undelete was one of the most useful ones for average users. And so having this function built into DOS was already an instance of Microsoft incorporating commonly used functions into their operating system, which until then had been done by third-party software. The same is true of the DOS shell, obviously. I mean, besides Windows, there were a lot of other sort of third-party file managers that had been made for DOS, and so Microsoft including a DOS shell with DOS was basically kind of doing the same thing. It was Microsoft adding things to the operating system that third-party software had already been doing for a while. In the case of the MS-DOS shell, it wasn't that big or special because I don't think most people used the shell anyhow, but a lot of people used undelete back in the day, obviously, and stuff like, what else was there? Task Swapper. I mean, again, Task Swapper. Most people are probably already using Windows, so yeah. And the editor as well. Text editors proliferated for DOS back in the day, but they became a lot less necessary when DOS included edit, because edit, again, it was basic. It is so basic. Like it's the most basic text editor imaginable, but it works. You're not doing like advanced word processing with it. You're just using it for basic editing of text files, and it was good enough for that. And so because it started shipping with DOS 5, it kind of pushed third-party text editors for DOS out of the market because you didn't need them anymore. You had a good enough text editor that came with DOS. So this was already kind of the beginning of a long tradition of Microsoft adding stuff to their operating system, which was actually useful. I mean, I'm not saying this stuff was bad. Like these are all useful functions, but it was basically putting third-party developers out of business by doing things that their programs were supposed to do, but including those functions for free in programs that came with DOS. So yeah, DOS was, besides being a list of function calls for, obviously it has, APIs and things like that inside it, but it was also a shell, and it started becoming also a list of utilities, a list of included file utilities, like undelete, like unformat, and excuse me, and whatever else it had. So, yeah. That was DOS 5. This also marked, I think, the first, at least the first... Actually, that's not true. I was going to say I think this marked the first instance of a really wild sort of marketing ad, but it's actually not true now that I think about it. If you go on YouTube and search around, there is something called the DOS Rap, which was an actual kind of rap song that Microsoft made as an ad. It's like a 5-minute ad for DOS 5. Kind of appropriate, a 5-minute ad for DOS 5. And it is an actual rap, and it is so cheesy, and it is so corny, and it is so cringe that if you've never seen it, you should probably watch it. Just look up the DOS Rap on YouTube. I would append it here myself, but this video has already gone on long enough, and I'm a little bit worried about copyright. I mean, I really doubt that Microsoft is going to come after me because of copyright on a 35-year-old ad for MS-DOS 5. I really doubt that that's going to get me a copyright strike, but still, I don't want to add it here because it's already on YouTube anyway. You can go and search for it. And I was going to say, because this was like the first version of DOS that had an actual retail release, like a proper retail release where you could buy this separately. So I was going to say that's like maybe the first really crazy sort of ad that Microsoft made, but actually that's not true because Windows 1.0, the very first version of Windows, is notorious for that ad with Steve Ballmer in it, where Steve Ballmer is going crazy. He's just introducing the Windows, he's introducing the features of Windows 1.0, and it's so primitive, but he just gets so excited about it, and he's like, it has a clock! Like he gets so excited about the clock, and he says, a clock! And then at the end, he's like, how much do you think this costs? $100? $1,000? No, it's only like, what did it cost, like $70 or something? He just, yeah. It's Steve Ballmer. I mean, if you're familiar with Steve Ballmer, then you know what he was like. He was he was famous for getting very excited about things like that. I mean, as I guess was his job, because he was later he was CEO. He wasn't in marketing. He was later the CEO of Microsoft. But he got very enthusiastic. He was famous for for being a guy who made a lot of noise and got very excited about Microsoft and Microsoft products. So good for him. Anyway, so yeah, if you're curious, look up that DOS Rap. It's kind of it's extremely cringe, but I managed to enjoy it. I managed to somehow enjoy it in a way that I'm not necessarily proud of. Maybe it just helped that I had DOS 5. I actually was able to watch it and think, wow, it's kind of cool. But yeah, maybe that says more about me than anything else. Anyway, okay, sorry this video went on longer than planned as always, but I just always have too much to say when it comes to old computing stuff because I just get so excited about showing how the undelete command works. So yeah, this has been the MS-DOS 5 5-minute workout. It went on longer than 5 minutes as I anticipated, but still, it was the MS-DOS 5 workout. So thanks for watching, everyone. I hope that it was at least mildly interesting. I hope that it was somewhat entertaining to watch. I hope you're all doing well. Take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye-bye for now.